Hey everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I am Amanda from Amanda the Biblio, and today we are filming my Phase 10 TBR game. Today we are actually playing it. I know last month we did not play it. I apologize for that. This month we're actually playing it. It is currently 1 in the morning, so I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet. I'll try to turn it up a little bit in editing, but we're going to play the game and figure out what books we're reading this month. So I do plan on participating in the Lightfall Beryllium Readathon, Audio Advent, and Merry Bookmas possibly. As of right now, those are the ones that I plan to attempt to participate in for readathons. I have all sorts of yearly challenges going on and just lots of stuff going on. Alright, so before we get into the Phase 10, we need to go over the series TBR jar thing. I have last month's. I did not do great so far. There's still a couple days left in the month, and I do plan on reading a lot because it is Donna's 72 hour, but I ended up rolling a 4 because I roll a dice to figure out how many I have to pull, and then I add on any that I didn't read the previous month. So I rolled a 4, so I ended up having to pick 4 series. Then I ended up having to add on 3 more draws from the jar because I did not read 3 series from last month. So the first out of the original pulls was Red Rising. This one I did not get to, and I'm not going to. So that one is going back in there. So next up was The Heroes of Olympus, and I'm on the second book, and I did not get to that, and my hold ran out, so that's going back in, and that's 2 additional pulls so far. So the next one was Player's Game, and I did end up trying to continue this, but I ended up DNFing the book, and it is the second and final book in the series, so that one's getting taken out. And then the last one out of the original polls was Love and Games, and I have not read this yet, and I don't think I'm going to get to it as well. Out of the 3 that I drew, I did not have to read 2 of them, because when I did this, I hadn't read those series yet, but before the month ended, I did read them, so I got to take them off. But one of them was DC Icons. This is Batman, which I plan on reading this weekend. We have The Ancient Magus's Bride, which I do plan on reading before the end of the month. And then the one that I didn't grab was The Diabolic, and I do plan on reading that. I'm reading that right now, actually. DC Icons is going back in because there are more books, and The Ancient Magus's Bride is going in there because I plan on reading it, and there's more books. So out of the 7, I did end up reading 4, which left me with 3 that I did not continue. And because I messed everything up last month, I'm going to only add 1 book because I had 3 left. I ended up taking 2 off because I continued the series. But anyway, I'm only going to add 1 extra draw. So I was thoroughly unprepared for this. I forgot to bring over my jar that I usually do the things in because this one is packed full. So I'm going to use this. I just have to take out the cards that are inside it. I'm not even going to lie, I don't remember where this came from. So we are going to take our picks and attempt to dump them in here. Alright, so here are all of the series. I have not updated this, I'm not even going to lie. I have not updated it for December. Like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can't take any more time trying to prep for this video. So I have a dice. I'm going to roll it. You're not going to see it, I'm sorry. But I'm going to roll it, and we're going to see how many I have to draw. Alright, so I rolled a 4, so I have to pull 5, because like I said, I'm adding 1. So let's pick those real quick. Alright, so the first one is The Ancient Magus's Bride. So I will be continuing that. I was on volume 11, which I'm reading before the end of the month, so I will read volume 12. I need to see how many are left. Alright. So now, the next one, draw number 2, we have, whatever this is. We have Mistborn, which I did end up finishing. I do need to continue reading Sanderson, but I did finish Mistborn, so we're going to go draw 2 again. Like I said, I did not update this. So next up, we have Vampire Knight. That's another manga, so super easy. I don't know where I left off on that, but it's a reread, and yeah, super easy. So draw number 3. So far the jar is being nice. I'm scared. So if it's on this yellow paper, it's just that I added it this year. Maid-sama. So we've gotten 3 manga. This is another reread and very easy for me to do. Alright. So that's 3. Here's 4. So we have the Heroes of Olympus again, and I don't know how to hold the paper. But the amount of times that this has come up, I just really need to get through it. So we have our last draw now. On the plus side, I grabbed 2. On the plus side, the hold is going to come in for that soon. So, Tomes and Tea. I think I have 1 book left. Let me check. Alright, so yes, Tomes and Tea, I do have 1 book left. So, easy peasy. 2 audiobooks and 3 manga. Easy. Alright, now that that's done, we can get into phase 10 and a quick little brief change that I am making before my discards, before I got my phase, would be reading prompts. My discards after would be activity prompts. Both of those are bonuses. And then the phase is a mix and required. I'm going to keep a similar setup. I'm just going to use the same wheel to spin for each prompt. All discards are going to be bonus. All phase prompts are going to be required. Just, I'm going to mix up the discards together because it's too much work doing it separate. We need to get into this because this is going to take forever and this video is going to be really long. So I'm on phase 10, which is a set of 5 and a set of 3. When I figure out the prompt, if it's a reading challenge prompt for the year, I get rid of it. If it's a random other prompt, I keep it. That's more on my end, just so prompts don't repeat. But I'm going to draw my cards and we're going to see. Alright, so I have my 10 cards and I have not looked at them. Face them so you can see them first. The 3 wilds. Great. Alright, so this video is going to be chaotic. This month is going to be chaotic. So I have 3 wilds. Like I said, I need to get a set of 5 and a set of 3. Alright, so I organized the cards. I already have the phase. I'm going to count this just because I have to roll for the wilds. So it's going to be a lot of required prompts, but not a lot of bonus prompts, which is fine. So I'm going to draw my first card. So first card is a 1, and then obviously I'm laying down my phase and we will get back to those because those have more going on. So these are my 3 cards currently. You can probably barely see them because of the ring light, but we're going to discard this blue 5 first. And I've got my handy dandy computer here and we're going to spin to see what the prompt is. This is the best way I can think to do it, so let's just spin. Okay, so I have to post to my social media daily. This can be Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. In my case, that is a bonus prompt, so I don't need to do it, but if I do it, then I get a reward. So let's draw our next card, which is a green 6. We need 2s and 4s, so this is getting discarded. So for this, it's the second chance prompt from the horror bingo. Okay, so for this prompt, it's to give an author, a book, a genre, subgenre, whatever, a second chance. Now, I don't read a lot of horror, and the first book that came to mind was House of Leaves, but I am not reading that this month. That's not a thing that's happening. So I looked at the books that I had paused on Storygraph, and actually, Darkness Creeping by Neil Shusterman is a book that I started and never finished, so I paused it on Storygraph. So we're gonna go with that one because it's a short story collection of horror short stories. So we're gonna do that. Alright, so now we're gonna draw again. So we got a yellow 1 and I can't use that. So we're gonna discard. And that means we spin again. So I have to wheel spin my Apple games. So I thought that I had the wheel saved and I didn't. So I'm gonna have to do this off screen. So whatever I pop up on the screen somewhere is the game that I got. And I just have to play it. So we're gonna draw again and we got a red 3, which is not useful to us. So we're gonna discard and spin again. Take a nap. I can do that. Super easy. I don't know why so many activity prompts are coming up for this. It's actually really shocking because normally I get mostly reading prompts for my required books, so it's shocking. But next we have a green 3, which again doesn't help me. So I have to read a romance with one of our favorite tropes. I don't know why I wrote our, but a romance with one of my favorite tropes. So for this one, I'm going to go with Wish Upon a K-Star. This is in my winter hopefuls and also is fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes. So this is about a K-drama uprising star and a K-pop idol who is like super famous, and they have to fake date for some reason. Alright, let's draw again. We have another 3. This time it's a red 3. Not helpful. So the buzzword cover challenge book. So the prompt for that is monochromatic, and I'm gonna go with King of Scars because this is all gold, and I need to read this before the end of the year. So we're gonna go with this one. This is the first book in the King of Scars series. It follows Prince Nikolai. I would highly recommend reading Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows before getting into this one. That's all I'm gonna say, because huge spoilers. Alright, let's draw again. And we have a 10. Not helpful. We spin again. So the disability challenge on hardest reading challenge you've ever done, you'll ever do, whatever it's called. This is the disability challenge. You've got to read 5 different books that have different disabilities represented in them. So for this one, I'm going to be reading Next to You. This one has anxiety rep, according to sources. All I know about this is that they're renovating a school bus. I read the first book and enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to this one and reading more from this author. Sorry if I don't seem too enthusiastic. We're just getting through it. So next we have a 6. Not helpful. What else is new? So let's spin again. I'm still trying to find a good way to do this. This is not ideal. So a sequel or similar to a read from the previous round. So this is perfect. I can read Ancient Magus's Bride, the next volume of that. Super easy. Alright. We have a 10. Still not helpful. So we go again, as I almost hit myself in the face with my own computer. So published in the 80s. Oh great. So for this, I'm gonna use a wild. I really don't want to read a fantasy from the 80s right now. So I can use wilds. I can either pre-plan to use them or I can use them at the end of the month. But I'm going to use wild for this. So I'm going to read Breakaway. This obviously does not fit the prompt, but it's one I need to get read. I don't know. This is a hockey romance. That's really all I know about it. It's continuing a series, and it's going to be going toward Chris's phase out your series-a-thon. But we're going to draw again, and I got a 2. This I can use. So this will be going toward the phase, and I will discard one of my 2 last cards. So let's discard this and spin the wheel. So Animals Challenge, Wild Animals from Hercule. This one I'm going to have to get back to you guys on, because I honestly don't know. But I'll put it on the screen, whichever one I decided to go with. So we're going to draw again. And we get a 5, which is not helpful. So let's spin again. So add a new routine. So I don't know what I will do for that just yet, but I will find something to add to my routine every day. We have another red 5. How funny. So an illustrated cover. Easy. So for this one, I will go with Maid Sama and read the next volume of that. So let's draw again and hope for a 2 or a 4. It's another 5. Great. So let's go again. Genre chosen for you by someone else. This one I finished. I don't know why it's still on the list. I did this one with a book I read technically this month in November. So let's spin again. I don't know why that was still on there. I'll have to double check my reading challenge. So a children's book published after 2020 by an author of color. I made a whole mess with all this. And I know it says after 2020, but I'm choosing one that was published in 2020. And we're going to go with I Am Every Good Thing. The kids have had this for, the oldest child specifically has had this for many years. And I don't think we've ever read it. So I'm going to read it with the kids, most likely. Alright, let's draw again. And we have a wild, which means we are discarding the last card, finally. Alright, let's spin the wheel the last time for the discards. And then we will get into my required reads. Ooh, I'm rolling way too many dice. So, play phase 10 with my kiddo, my oldest kiddo. Yeah, he doesn't want to play phase 10 much anymore. So it's just going to be a game in general. But that will be the last bonus prompt. So we have 3 2s, 3 4s, and 4 wilds. So we definitely have the phase, obviously. So we're going to go through the number cards first, and then we will go through the wilds. let me check if any of these were rewards or punishments. So I did end up adding 2 rewards for finishing some of the bonus prompts last month, and I added 2 punishments for not finishing all of the prompts that were required and not finishing all of my series. So the rewards were added on a blue 11 and a red 1, and the punishments were added on a yellow 3 and a yellow 6. Okay, so it looks like none of these are rewards or punishments, but those could come up later when we are rolling the dice. Alrighty, so for the first blue 2, so crochet something. Super easy, not even worried about it. So for that, I just have to crochet something, and I've been doing a series where I am trying to get through my stash on Instagram and on TikTok, so make sure you are following and check those out. So then we have the red 2. Right, around the world, North America. That is honestly so easy. So I can double up between these prompts and my discards. So I'm going to double up with Breakaway, because I'm pretty sure that's going to take place in North America. So let's spin for the next blue 2. Random word generator. So for this, I just will pop up a random word generator. Alright, and I will randomly generate a word. Launch. Okay. So I just need to find a book that is somehow related to launch. All the angles are probably messed up. I leaned on something. But I'm gonna go with What Moves the Dead for this one, because it's the start of a series, so I'm launching myself into the series. Alrighty, let's spin again. This one is for the green 4, one of them. So it's a bigger rainbow. So for this one, I'm gonna go with Murder by Cheesecake, because I have it out from the library and I need to get to it anyway. And it's gonna be super cute. And it's on my winter hopefuls. All the reasons. Alrighty, on to the next spin. This one's for another green 4. Book off seasonal TBR. I've been doing really good about trying to choose books from there. So for this one, I'm gonna go with Wish Upon a K-Star, because it's on my seasonal TBR. So this is the last roll for the numbers, and it's a blue 4. So did I say roll? I meant spin. So Transwrap. So for this one, I'm going to read Godly Heathens. If I'm not mistaken, this was on my 2025, or 25 for 2025. So the first while, I'm going to roll a dice. Again, you're not going to see it because I just don't feel like trying to figure that out. So I'm going to roll the dice and see how many cards to draw. We got a 3. So the first one is a yellow 5. Okay, so yellow 5 is nothing. It's not a punishment or a reward. So we just need to spin. So Last 10 Years, 2015 is just a book published in 2015. So for this one, I'm going to try to read Dumplin'. We'll see how this goes. I honestly don't remember what this is about. I've had it on my shelves for a very long time, and I need to get it read. I'm sorry if you can hear my computer. It is being extra loud. But the next draw is a green 7. So that's not a reward or a punishment, so let's spin it. Includes Latin American history. So for this one, I'm going to stick with what I had originally picked that I was going to read this month and just move it over to December. And that is Anna Maria and the Fox. So I'm going to try to read that one this month. And the last one for this wild is a yellow 4, which that is a reward. So I'm just going to random number generate 1 through 10. I'm not going to get a dice for this. So we're going to random number generate. You probably can't see that very well. So we have a 7. And with a 7, I can replace any reading prompt with an activity one. That one I can hold on to as well, so I don't have to use it now. And now we still spin for it, so let's do that. So watch a season of a TV show or a movie. So now I'm going to roll for the next wild. So this time I got a 2. So let's draw the first card. A skip. Cool. So now I don't need to do a prompt for one of them. And at the end of the month, if I don't complete all the prompts, I can count this to replace one of them. Right? And the second draw is a yellow 2. Now that is a punishment. So we need to random number generate again. 2. So I must finish one of the series that I drew. Tomes and Tea is actually going to be finished, so that was a lucky one. So now we spin and hopefully get an easy prompt, because we still have 2 more wilds. So award season, a semifinalist from Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do. So for this one, I'm going to go with What Feasts at Night, because this was a semifinalist, I think. I don't know. I can never figure out how to tell. for the horror genre for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that seems to be the one that I'm most likely to actually find something that I would want to read. Now I'm going to roll the dice again, so that I can see how many for this wild we're going to be pulling. I got 2 again. Thank you for being nice, dice. I appreciate you. So the first one is a yellow 7. I just praised it for being nice, and then it gave me a punishment. So let's see what that's going to be. We got a 1. That punishment is to roll a d6 and add that many prompts. So let me do that. So we have a 2 again. So, whew. And we spin the wheel. 24-hour readathon. That works out because I am doing a 24-hour readathon in December. So that actually works out really well. So we draw again for the second on the wild, and we have a blue 5. Good. That is not a reward or a punishment, so we spin the wheel. The bigger rainbow, gold / silver. Beautiful. I've not counted this for this yet. King of Scars. It's gold. I had not counted that for the regular prompts. So we're gonna roll to see how many to add for this wild. Oh no. I got a 6. So that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. The first one is a 1, which is a reward. So let's do that. We got another 7, which we already know what that is. That is, I can replace any reading prompt with an activity prompt, which is going to come in handy, I am sure. So let's spin and see what we get. So now I have 2 of those that I could use this month or in a future one. This book has been put on my TBR about 1,000,000 times now. So for Heritage Month, Arab Heritage Month, I have been trying to read the 100 Years War on Palestine for that 4 months, and I just haven't been getting to it, so we're gonna try again. The next card is a blue 11, which is another reward. Let's see what we get. I'm not gonna hold this up this time. Honestly, I just don't feel like it. So we get a 3, and that is to replace a prompt with gaming. Or it says replace prompt with gaming, so this one is going to be just me gaming. So we're gonna draw again. A blue 3. That is not a punishment or a reward, so let's spin the wheel. So your favorite prompt from hardest reading challenge you ever did. Round 1. I will look that up later, put the book up here that I chose and the prompt, because that's a lot of research I have to do, and I need to finish this video. So prompt number 4 is a yellow 6, which is a punishment. I got a 9 for that. And that is to complete that prompt twice unless it's a reading challenge, then re-roll and complete 2 prompts for that card. And by reading challenge, I mean a yearly reading challenge. I just realized I was like getting out of it. So let's spin the wheel and see what we get and see if we can repeat it. So Storygraph Rec, read a book from Storygraph's recommendations. This one I can do twice. I'm just going to my home screen. Again, we have so many reflections. And in these recommendations here, I have to choose books. Okay, so this is super easy. I chose books without having to like refresh or anything. So the first one is Bound to the Orc Warlord, Marriage of Duty, Grumpy Sunshine. I'm ready for it. Sign me up. And the other one was Winging It with You. This one, I don't know. Something about it's just calling to me. Alright, so the next card is a red 12. And that was not a punishment or a reward. So, we spin. I really hope this video comes out because I feel like I'm just a mess. Anxiety, disability rep challenge. Perfect. So I'm going to read Next to You for that one because I was reading it for that prompt anyway for another challenge. So technically I was reading that for just disability rep and I pulled it from the disability rep challenge. So it worked out perfect. So red 7, that is not a punishment or a reward. And it's the last card for the wild. But if you remember, we do have to add 2 more. So let's spin. Hopefully we get an activity prompt to make my life a little bit easier. I was confused. So we did Disability Rep, which is a separate challenge. This is for Heritage Month's Disability Pride. That's why I was confused. Okay, so I did already complete that prompt this month. So we're going to spin again and get a new prompt for this. Participate in reading sprints, roll a d6 to determine how many that month, which I do plan on running some, so that could work. I got 6. Okay. This thing really said, you have a lot of reading to do, so we're going to help you get it done. Okay, now we have to add 2 more cards for the punishment. So we have a green 2, which is not a punishment, nor a reward. Let's do this, and then we have one more prompt, and hopefully we're done. Hopefully. Hopefully this video can edit down a bunch. Accuse, Reviews, and Recs, a full reading blog. This I'm going to have to look into and find one. So you guys will see on the screen what I got. But the last prompt, hopefully, is a red 4. I don't think that's a punishment, so... Okay, it's not a punishment, nor a reward. So this is the last prompt. Whew, finally, a Kindle book. Super easy. Actually, I know which one I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read Level Up. That's not one I own, but it was through Kindle Unlimited. And it's one I started, and I need to finish before the end of the month. So I'm gonna read Level Up. That is a lot of books. That is so many. Hopefully I can fit these into other challenges, other reading challenges I'm doing. But that's it for this one. Make sure to follow me on all of my social media so that you can see the other books that I have planned, or how I fit these into different reading challenges. Thank you for sticking around for all this. That was so much. I hope that you enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below with any books that you plan on reading in December. If you have made it this far, try to leave snow-related emojis because it's supposed to be snowing out really bad tonight. And I haven't looked out the window to check if it is. But leave me snow emojis if you've made it this far, and make sure to like this video, subscribe if you would like to stick around for more of my chaos, because I'm a whole mess, and we live for it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!